All right. Thanks everyone for joining. I started recording for anyone who couldn't make it. So for this lesson, I want to go over how to fix the cross-site scripting issues, and also I want to go over the SQL injection exploits. And let's just keep using the damn vulnerable web app for this kind of testing. So let me share my screen. Here, I started the damn vulnerable Node.js app. Let's see, DVNA by appsecco on GitHub. So you can just run this one command after you install Docker, and it's pretty simple. I already, if you follow the instructions here at this first page, this quick start. So yeah, it made me, I think it needs to be run within the same folder that you have the code saved and downloaded. So just email me if you have any problems with that, or email me if this, after you install Docker, if you get errors from this, just send me an email and send me a screenshot of what your errors are, and I can help you with that. So let's, so once you get that running, you just go to this URL here. This is your local, and then that's your port. So let's finish up the cross-site scripting issue. So how do we, does anyone have any ideas of how we can fix the cross-site scripting issue? Can anyone think about how we can clean the input that, let's see. Well, if you remember from the last one, we added products here in these rows, but can anyone think of like what we can do to these boxes to stop that attack from happening? All right, I will show you. So let me switch tabs here. So here's the answer. If you go to the damn vulnerable web, yeah, what is it? Damn vulnerable Node.js application. You go to the main page, go to docs, and then solution, and you can see the link here, and then go to the XSS, cross-site scripting. So the way we can fix that last issue from the last video is do something called character escaping. So let me see where that is. So maybe there. So it says, here's a vulnerable code snippet. So when we went to this page, let's see, it's probably named product. Well, it has to, in the code somewhere, there it is, products. So app/products. So if you notice where they're saying here, app/products, it kind of correlates to the URL. The code correlates to the URL that's exposed. And so here's the vulnerable snippet. So this is what is existing there. So if we go to view app product EJS, let's go there just so we are on the same page. So I think it was apps or views, yeah. Views/apps/products. And it's a .ejs, so it's a JavaScript file with HTML in it. So it's displaying some tables, right? And here's the table row, define table row. And they're using this minus sign, so that's what's really bad, and that's what's allowing the attack to happen. So what you want to do is use an equal sign. It's as simple as that, an equal sign instead of a minus sign. So it says, notice the equal sign symbol instead of minus, which escapes the output. So what it does is it cleans your input from users, it cleans it and turns it into just no commands. It's not a command, it's just words. Note that this only prevents XSS when the target for escaped output is in an HTML context. So they're talking about like the scope of this, that it just has to do with that input on your HTML element. So if someone is somehow able to modify that data somewhere else down the line, then I believe that's what they're talking about. It's limited to the HTML context. So yeah, it's pretty simple. Yeah, on that one, different languages have different ways to escape the characters, but that's how you stop that on your website. So let's move on to SQL injection. So let's go back to the main page. So this web app, it gives us examples of something called a WASP top 10, which are just the top 10 most common vulnerabilities developers make. And injection, SQL injection specifically, is one of the most common ones that engineers forget to do. And it's one of the common ones that basically attackers use to exploit websites. So if we click this first link, SQL injection user search, I made one user on here. So maybe if I log out and I show you, so I'm gonna log in as Halen, right? So here's my one account. And then let's say I make another account, just say Bob, and then this login is Bob. This is just a made up email. That's not my email. It doesn't actually email anybody. So you can just put whatever in there. So let's say I'm logged in as Bob, right? So here's just a SQL injection example. And so I'm logged in, but there's the other account that's Halen. And maybe I should have done it the other way, right? It's kind of confusing that way, but you get what I'm talking about. So you log in here, and you can actually pull some information from this search bar, right? So if I just put in a single quotation mark and click submit, I get an internal error, right? So that's kind of interesting. So how it's supposed to be used is me to just search for users, like I just searched for Halen and it came up, right? Or if I search for Bob, it comes up. And notice the ID is 2, so it's saying it's the second user. So that's how much information you're supposed to be shown. But if you, let's see, where's the, here it is. So they show solutions and exploits in these docs/solutions. So these are really good for learning. It says right here, by injecting a single quote, we see this error. And then it says, if we supply it this command, then we can pull out some interesting information. All right, so I just copy pasted this, and what this is a SQL statement. And what that single quotation mark does is it, what we call concatenates. It adds your statement, whatever statement you add onto whatever the programmers wrote. So what if they don't look for that, and if they don't clean their input correctly, then you can just start adding in your own commands, and it's not supposed to be used like that. That would be considered abusing a website. So you would need permission from the website owners, or it should be okay in the bug bounty guidelines, but don't just do this to any person's website. And I'm just gonna put Halen in there. So I'm logged in as Bob, and I just got some interesting information, right? So if you look at what I did here, is I put union select. So it's saying combine the select statement of SQL, because that's how they're searching through the user database, is they're using a SQL command to search a SQL database, which stores the names Halen, Bob, which apparently stores the password. And this is not my password. This is total garbled up. Like this looks like a, it looks like they're exposing the hash of the password. So it's a practice in websites. What they'll do to try to increase the security is they'll use your password. They'll do some kind of like random number transformation on it that you can go back and forth like a code. And then they'll add maybe some extra like made up characters on the end called the salt to make it more secure. But you can decrypt something like that, and you can pull out a password, or maybe if I kept going further, maybe I could use this to, maybe this is like a cookie that I could use to access other people's accounts. And so you can see that, all right, so that was $2 for me. And then let's see what it says for Bob. So yeah, it looked like it changed, right? Yeah, that was F9IX68G. So it looks like it's because I did this command of select. So it's saying select a column of SQL. So think about a database as a bunch of rows and columns, where each column is the title of the data and each row is like the entry of it. So it's saying select from the password column, and it says comma 1, I guess ID of 1, from users. So, you know, it's kind of a hard thing to say, can you guess these? You probably can guess these, you know, like so many engineers use the same kind of names for things, or maybe if you did another SQL statement that just did print out all tables, then you could get this users. And then you're saying where login, and that's a specific variable. It's saying where login is equal to, and then here I just put as a string, so it's just like a search. It's saying search for Halen, and then that minus / I'm not really sure. Maybe that's some SQL magic or something. You'd have to look that up more. But this works. I mean, maybe it might work without that, actually. Maybe that is just garbage. Nope, you need that. Well, let's look it up. You can just see what does SQL. So the first thing is a comment. So I think what they're doing here is they're ending the statement. So I think we actually don't need the dash, the / but yeah, no, that didn't, whoops, no, that should have been it. Oh man. Well, that comment seems to end the statement. Let me see what the / means. What does, well, that's the other direction, so that's kind of weird. Let me try without that. Oop, keep putting in the, you have to search the name. It has to be a name that's in the database. So yeah, see, that worked. So you don't need that // you just need the -- because it was a comment. It was like basically hijacking their code and then ending it wherever you want it to. So you're just saying like, okay, this is a comment, end of statement. Well, it's just a way to close the statement. So let's see what else. Here's another one on the ping page. So if you just go here. Oh, and did anybody have any questions on that? I want to make sure I'm looking at the chat to see. Yeah, does anyone have any questions about that? All right. Great. So you go to A1 injection. A stands for attack. In here, command injection. They describe another one. So if you just put X ;ID, then you can actually see the ID command be executed. So what I have here is a command line. So I can do different commands and stuff, right? Like ls, and it'll show you all of my folders of wherever I am right now. So you can see right now I just checked my my working directory. Not sure what the P is. Probably present working directory. Are they trying to say that? But it just has to do with where you are in the folder structure. So I can actually run that same command here. So it looks like I'm actually able to access and run commands on their server that's running the website, which is technically my laptop using Docker. And, you know, you can do some pretty interesting stuff with this. Like, you know, it says sudo not found, just trying different things, see if I can execute a command or mess with it somehow. Yeah, like right now it's just waiting. Yeah, what are, I'll say bug bounty Linux commands. Maybe that might give us something interesting. So Medium is a good place for learning about software engineering, cybersecurity, security engineering. But I'm just looking for commands, to be honest, like things I can start getting the idea of. You know what I could do is, it looks like it actually froze. I can probably do cd ... and then let me see if I can start chaining these commands together. Just seeing what else I can do here. And then ls. I don't know if that'll work. Yeah, that worked. That's funny. So you can start chaining commands together. So this is really bad. You don't want people to be able to go on to you're supposed to be testing what this is supposed to be used for is like testing like an IP address. I just made up one. And yeah, this is just like you're pinging different websites, right? So it's saying, okay, well, that didn't work. So you're pinging different websites, but then if you start doing commands, and I don't know if you actually need that X. Let's see if you don't need it. Yeah, all you need is just the semicolon, and the reason why this actually works is it's the same kind of thing that we saw on the last one. Is it's like ending the programmer statement and you're starting your own statement, and in the search field you're like adding on to what the programmer said, in a way that it misuses how that box is intended to be used, right? So what the programmer should have done is once again escaped their characters, like escape their the input that the user is putting in there. So yeah, I can just say ls. I can just start like mapping out all of their folders, right? ... And I could just probably keep on doing that actually. No? Okay. So what about like this? cd dot, just to see if I can get further. Well, okay, so I'm on the root folder. And then let's say if I wanted to go into home, or what would be interesting? Maybe just bin. I'll say bin. I'll say the important things are probably in bin. So I'll go semicolon, cd ... and then I'll do cd into the home. Or no, I said bin. And then ls. So see that? We're actually able to start mapping out every folder that's on here. And yeah, you could probably do like, you could probably read files on there, right? So this is a really bad vulnerability. The solution to fixing this, let's see. So here's the one we're looking at. So this is the solution for the one we just looked at. it's saying this is the vulnerable code, and then this one is a solution. So what's the difference? You may add exec file or spawn method under child process. So where's child process? There's child process. It's in both places, which will prevent arbitrary code execution. And that's what I was just doing. I was doing arbitrary code execution. That's not what the programmers intended. You know, it could lead to people basically taking over a whole website just from that. So I'm trying to figure out the difference. So instead of just, so it says execute ping. Okay, so that's the same. So instead of using exec, it uses exec file. And see how it just says, okay, ping, and then it's breaking up this statement. And this is the only statement on that server that the engineers intended you to do. So this is intended command execution. And then what I was doing before was the arbitrary command execution. So by taking over this, see how I just basically added a semicolon there after the ping. So it did the ping, then it added a semicolon because this is what I added, right? When I put in my command here, or it's technically this one. So when I put in here, it adds it onto here, and it just adds a semicolon on there. I didn't even need the quote. So yeah, it says that's it, exec file, and it gives you this other one, spawn. So it's saying if for whatever reason this method doesn't work for you, or it's not accessible for you, then you can use spawn. And yeah, that concludes our lesson. Thanks everyone for joining. I kind of went over time, but yeah, thanks. I hope to see you next time. Yeah.